Hey, this looks like a regular rechargeable power bank, but if you look closely, if you look here, that's a camera lens. And then there's two infrared lights there. And you can only see this if I have this spotlight on it. And if I turn this off, if this is just normal setting, you can't really see much. It just looks like a normal portable battery. And let me just turn this back on so you can see. Maybe if it's a little, there we go. So the switches back here is quite simple. This is V for continuous video mode, MD is for motion detection, and this is the on and off switch. You flick it. The R is to reset, and you need that if you flip this over. And then so it resets, and then it repositions the camera on its own based on how it's flipped. So it's always the right side up. So if you ever flip it over, press R, and then it flips it back to right side up. This is where you need to recharge the battery back, and this is to actually do some configurations like setting the date. You go in here, link it to your computer, and you have to change a file to the current date. This is the micro SD card. It holds up to 64, it could read up to 64 gigs, record at 64 gigs, up to that, and that gives you about 6 hours of 1080p video. And after it goes beyond 6 hours, it loops back and it starts overwriting the previous. So when it records 30 hours, this is actually more than enough, more than what TF card can hold. And if you have it plugged in, it records forever, it just keeps looping. So if you have it on motion detection, right, you could probably record for days. Yeah, you can record for days if it's on motion detection. So you just set it and forget it, and you just leave it. Did I tell you it records audio too? So yes, so the infrared lights can go up to 8 meters. Let me just show you the video footage.
Okay, first impressions is the noise in the background. You hear the static, and that's because it's plugged in and it doesn't know how to filter out that electrical noise. If you remove the USB, you're fine. Another one is that you see my head is cut off, and that's because it's placed on a table. And you probably have that problem when you place it on the desk as well. What you want is in a higher position where you have to place it in a higher shelf, and so that you can capture the head. So the angle is not wide enough. Where I'm standing is about a meter away. The sharpness of the image is good enough to identify people. This was taken without the USB plugged in, and you can hear the difference. There's a much lower white noise than before. And you can see my cat eating on the right. I could detect his motion. So you see when I pass by, it just changed the image completely. And that's because it's adjusting to the high strength infrared light. And you see it's just trying to adjust itself. So maybe actually it's not 4 infrared lenses. They might be just 2, and the other 2 is a light detection sensor, and the other is a motion detection sensor. So there's probably 2, and then the other 2 is the detectors. So I just switched off the light, and you can see there's a purple haze, and that's because it's the infrared lights going through a purple glass, and that is to hide the infrared light as well. And that bright spot that you see in about the 3 o'clock is the infrared light, and it's on. Oh, that was the eye of my cat. And it can tell actually the difference between color. I mean, once I switched on the overhead light outside in the hallway, you could start seeing color again. And the purple tinge is only seen when it's dark. So the resolution here is still good enough, I think, to identify people. Overall, I think this is a very effective spy camera. And if you don't have to look at live view that requires Wi-Fi, this is a very effective tool. And it keeps the package small and cost-effective if all you need to do is to store evidence in a memory card. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you'd like to see more, just like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.